Ignacio and Jasmine Viramontes are both dreamers. Since they took over the family business, they have been succeeding in making their parents' dreams a sweet reality.
We started to become more involved in the business after DACA came around because that gave us a social security. We got a work permit. Once we got that, then we had the chance to actually apply for loans, credit cards. The money that we got, we used it to buy equipment. We used it to buy more raw materials, and that helped the business kind of grow faster.
In this episode, the siblings share their experiences from navigating the very tight margins of the candy industry and their success in adapting traditional products to the rapidly evolving landscape. Let's talk to Ignacio and Jasmine to find out cómo lo hicieron.
Éxito.
Success.
Hábitos.
Habits.
¿Cómo lo hizo?
How do they make it?
Descubra las costumbres y secretos de los triunfadores.
Discover the habits and the secrets of those who have succeeded.
Ignacio and Jasmine, thank you for being with us in Cómo lo hizo. How are you doing?
We're doing good, thank you.
And you, Jasmine?
We're doing good, thank you.
Okay. So tell us about Dulces Colibrí. How did everything start?
Well, Dulces Colibrí officially started here in the U.S. In 2000, but previously to that, it was already in the making years before when my parents were already in Mexico. So they had a candy company, but due to the economy in Mexico, it wasn't very stable. So my dad had to venture into the U.S.
Where in Mexico?
We're from Puebla.
Puebla, okay, so...
Yes, so he came to the U.S. and he wanted to venture for... Originally, he just wanted to save some money, like everybody else, and then go back after a year. But then it turned out that he felt that it was better if he would bring his family over. So he brought us over, and he would be working every day, Monday to Friday, on weekends, and my mom would be taking care of us. And because she was at home, she wanted to be able to help the family economy. So she started to make the candies that they used to make in Mexico. And she started to offer them to local stores. And we had a good reaction from the people. And then her customer base began to grow. And that's essentially how Dulces Colibrí began.
So your father was working, having a 9-to-5 or something like that. And your mother was helping him with, to bring some money home.
Correct, yes.
All right. So how did you go into the actual business? Because is your father still working on construction? I think he used to work.
He used to work in construction, and then they decided that because he would be working all the time, so he wouldn't be at home. So he would be out with he was a construction, he would work for a contractor. So he would leave Monday through Friday for a 9-to-5 job, and then on the weekend he would go with the contractor. So we would rarely be together. So he decided that we've already been apart for a long time, and I want the whole family to be together now. So he decided to give up his job, and then the whole family start a business. Originally, it was my dad, my mom, and my aunt. We were still young. I was 8 years. She was about 2, and my brother was 1. So then during the whole time where we went to school, it was mainly them taking care of the business. But when I graduated from high school, I wasn't able to go to university because I didn't have a social security number. So I wasn't able to apply for FAFSA or any of that. So I had to just start working in the family business. So I think that's one of the things that shaped our future, the fact that we didn't have a social. If I did have one, then probably our future would have been different. So in a sense, I like the fact that things worked the way they did.
So because otherwise you could go to college or something like that and you would not be part of the family business.
Exactly.
That's
I had been
mean.
accepted as a software engineer. I would be a software engineer.
So en español decimos no hay mal que por bien no venga.
Exacto.
Right.
Sí.
So, and your father just left, quit, and he started a business. Did you have savings or was kind of risky? Were you afraid?
My parents, my mom, they would tell everybody around them that they were planning on quitting their job and they're going to start their own business, and everybody was warning them, this is not an easy thing to do. You already have a kind of a stable job, so why would you leave it to try something that's not a for sure thing. My parents are like, they have a big amount of faith. So, and
no money in the bank. So more faith than the money.
Exactly, yes.
I thought you were going to say a big amount of money in the bank. No, it's faith.
It's faith.
Wow, interesting.
Yes. And they just went with it. And the contractor that used to be my dad's boss, like when my dad told him that he was going to quit, he actually offered him to be partners because he told him that, making candy is not really a good future ahead. I don't see a lot of future in it. So why don't you just become my partner? And then eventually I can petition you to become a legal resident of the U.S. So my dad decided that because if he would stay with him, he would have to work with him at least 5 years. And that would mean not seeing us every day throughout the week. So he decided to decline that offer. So he said, I'm going to decline it and I'm going to start the business with the whole family together. And that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay. So now your father is at home. Your mother is also, and you guys, you are very young. But what did they tell you? So what happened? There is a transition there from having a normal job, every 2 weeks you got a check and all that. And now you don't have that. Did they tell you how does it go? I mean, it was good?
Actually, throughout like our childhood, like my parents were always making candy. So for us, it was just like a normal transition from them doing candy every now and then to doing candy all the time. So we just saw it as normal as kids. Like on the weekends, we would hop in the car and we would go do deliveries to the little stores, the mini markets, the liquor stores. And then at the end of the day, we would all go and have lunch together. We would have we were from Puebla, so we would have a semita, or we would have some quesadillas at the end. So as kids, we would look forward to that part.
Right. Now, you were kids at the time.
Yes.
When did you get actually more conscious about the business itself?
I started to become more conscious about the business when I graduated high school, and then I started to become a full-time employee of the business. However, during that time, my parents were still the ones that were in charge of the business. And then we started to become more involved in the business after DACA came around, because that gave us a social security. We got a work permit.
I'm sorry. So did you got your social security just like that, or how did you get it?
We got it through DACA.
Oh, DACA.
Yeah,
you're at DACA.
Actions.
Oh,
yes,
that's awesome.
We're dreamers. Yeah.
Great.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. So once we got that, then we had the chance to actually apply for loans, credit cards, and then through that, then we just started applying, and then the money that we got, we used it to buy equipment. We used it to buy more raw materials, and that helped the business kind of grow at a faster pace.
So, Jasmine, now this question is for you. So, you were older. I mean, you were young, and you were looking at your parents and your brother doing that stuff. And then, what was going through your mind at 17 when you graduated from school?
When I graduated from high school, I also went straight from high school to start working in the business. So since we didn't have the 5 employees that we did back then, it was like I started packaging, orders and things like that. So I started working in the packaging area of the business. So he would take care of the administrative, and me, my aunt, and my mom would take care of the packaging, the orders, and making sure that they're done for delivery. So
did you notice that you guys were having hard times in terms of getting food on the table? You were struggling as a family, or everything was normal?
No, I didn't know we were struggling until I started working with them in the business. Back in high school, I thought that everything was fine. We have a business, everything is going fine. And once we started working, and my dad started telling us our payments and how much it costs to buy this and that, and then I was like, oh, yeah, it's harder. It's tough. It's a lot of work, yeah.
So you realized how difficult it is to have your own business.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys went through having a business plan or something, or you just went, like that, and you learned on the road?
We learned as we went, yeah. We didn't have my parents didn't have no business plans, and we kind of took off from where they started, so we took the same path that they did.
And then probably you got to the point where you saw things that were doing by your parents were doing, and then you realized, that's not the right way. Did you get to that point?
Yeah, like my parents are very trusting in people and stuff like that. So like when they would be like, "Oh, we're gonna do this or that," I'm like, "We need to make sure you have a contract, or you have it written down." And I just take their word for it, because if not, there's been times we've been like screwed over because of that. So now whenever we do make any deals or stuff, we make sure that it's written down and specified.
So
that
that
doesn't
change
happen again.
came because you went to business school or college or something?
Oh no, that just came because there's been already a couple of times where my parents have been too trusty with people, and then once we started working, then it turns out that they were just ripping us off. So we've lost money. My parents have lost a house over that. So
You lost a house? ¿Perdieron una casa?
yes, we did.
So how old were you?
I was still in high school. I believe I was around 17, 18.
But you realized that the hard moment, correct? The tough moment.
Yes.
So they lost the house because what happened?
Basically, when we started the business and we finally were able to move into our own location, we found a bakery that was for sale. So since that was already made for food prep and everything, so my dad decided to go and inquire about it. But they were trying to sell it, but my dad was able to get him to do a lease before sale. So we leased it, and then when the city was renovating the shopping center, they asked the landlord to invest some money because he had to do modifications so it could look like the rest of the shopping center. So the landlord went ahead and told my dad, since you're going to buy this, then you take care of it. My dad was okay with this. He said, okay, it's going to increase its property value, so we're going to go ahead and we sell the house and we make the changes to the building.
Oh, wow.
So he sold the house, and then when it was time that we already wanted to buy the building, then the landlord didn't want to sell anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
So we tried to look into it with attorneys and everything, but they said that whoever made the contract didn't do it correctly. So basically there was nothing we could do about it.
Oh, my God. So your family invested the whole house, they sold it, and they put the whole money into the remodeling of the property, and then you walk out with nothing.
Exactly.
That should be very hard, correct?
Yeah, that was very
parents?
hard. My parents were like
Devastated.
they were devastated, yes.
So you were renting an apartment or
We
something?
moved into we moved into an apartment, and then on top of that, 1 year later, our contract expired, so then he didn't want to renew it. And then one day when we were going to work, we just found a notice on the door that the building had been sold to a new landlord, and then the new landlord was giving us 30 days to get out of the building.
Oh, my goodness. So you were in the business at that point? Are you still in high school? I don't remember.
I believe I just had graduated high school, so I was just starting to be full-time.
So did that really affect you from that perspective? We better go and start looking for a job or something?
Yes, many times I've already thought about we should just like stop the business and maybe just get a job and maybe things will be better. But my parents have always brought me back and remind me, to just have faith in the business. Things don't work out the first time, so you just gotta be consistent and you just gotta keep going at it. And eventually things will work out. So with that in mind, and I always decided to go back and try again. And after seeing like all the hard labor that my parents have put into the business, it makes it harder to want to give up because they already gave up their youth in order for us to get a better future and to just throw it all away just because it's not convenient for me. It's hard to say.
Yeah. How did that change the business strategy?
From then I believe we started to be more careful. That's when my sister said that we had to pay more attention into what people would tell us and what would they actually do. So usually when somebody comes in, they tell you things in a pretty way. And then once things start to get going, it's not that pretty. So that's why we have to put things in writing and make sure it's something that both parties agree on. And we're going to make sure that that's how it goes.
Okay, so tell me more about the business itself. So what do you do? I guess this was the first question to ask.
Okay, so first of all, in 2015, me, my brother, and my sister, we kind of became in charge of the business. We made my dad kind of step down a little bit and maybe just look over us. And then we said that we were going to take over the business and we were going to make sure to reinvent it in a way to be
help it grow.
Exactly,
and to grow.
and to be more for the younger generations, because my dad had the ideas for the older generation. The product is great, it's traditional, and